Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, I wasn't going to do this video. I just filmed a Amir Khan v Kell Brook video, which you guys will probably see up, probably saw up a couple of hours ago. And this is actually, I filmed these videos the night before, so that Amir Khan, Kell Brook. So right now, you know what the time is? This is my dedication to you guys. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. So I'm on holidays now anyway, but it's 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm filming this video after filming the Amir Khan Kell Brook video that I did. I wasn't going to do it because I was tired and I was just on my phone. And I saw a video from Teddy Atlas talking about Canelo's next opponent. And I thought I have to do a video on this because he said some very interesting things. And what he said was, wow, Teddy Atlas, I do like Teddy Atlas. I think he says it how it is. But at times, I don't know, he can be a little bit harsh on Canelo. Even though people may say he's saying the truth. Like Teddy Atlas basically said that don't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez and his people call out Beterbiev next. And he goes that I think when they fought GGG, they saw a bit of slippage when he fought Daniel Jacobs. And he goes, I think they've seen a little bit of slippage. They would have seen a little bit of slippage against Beterbiev. So don't be shocked if you see Canelo Alvarez go for the Beterbiev fight next. Because there was a little slippage there against Brown. And Canelo's people would have seen that. So this fight, don't be surprised in the next couple of weeks or months, you hear that Canelo will be fighting Beterbiev. Now we know Canelo and his team have told us that they're going to look to go up to cruiserweight to fight Makabu for that belt. We had a lot of discussion. Is that a cherry pick? Is that, this, that, and the other? Ray actually said it is a cherry pick. But Teddy Atlas thinks that after watching that Brown fight, Canelo and his people are going to be very confident in taking the Beterbiev fight because they see some slippage. And this is what frustrates me. I love Teddy Atlas. I think he's very passionate. And I don't always agree with what he says, but that's just boxing and opinions, The problem is what I don't want is Canelo to fight Beterbiev and people say, well, Canelo fought an old Beterbiev. He fought old man Beterbiev. And that's what's going to happen because Canelo never seems to get credit. Now, of course, the boxing fans, the true boxing fans will give him credit. But there will be a narrative that's spun and he won't get credit that, Beterbiev is old and Beterbiev, he needs to, then there'll be, he needs to fight Bivol. And you see, Canelo can never win. He can never win. And stuff like that, his people now have seen that, but Atlas saying that, his people have now seen that Beterbiev is slipping. That's like taking credit away from Canelo because Canelo's a very small guy, and him fighting Beterbiev, like Canelo could lose that fight. Canelo could definitely lose that fight against Beterbiev. Even that time when Atlas said he said that they didn't wait too long. Waited a little bit, but they didn't wait too long to fight Golovkin because they were both great fights. And let's be honest, there was many people that had Golovkin winning both those fights. I certainly had Canelo losing the first fight. And I know people say that, well, watch that first fight again and I'll guarantee you to watch that. No, I had Canelo losing that fight. I think Canelo might have thrown the more eye-catching punches, but Golovkin was doing the most volume. Listen, my dad, for example, he's the most neutralist guy. Like he doesn't favor any fighter. Right? Maybe Ali back in the day, but apart from that, he doesn't really favor any fighter. And he thought, Golovkin won that fight. And he, like I said, he doesn't have any horse. Like, I'm more favorite to Canelo. And I would say, no, my brother was more GGG. I was more Canelo. No, Canelo's landing. But when you look back at that fight and you look at it from a neutral set of eyes, Golovkin landed the more punches. He was doing more of the volume. Yeah, Canelo was landing the more eye-catching punches. But Golovkin was landing more. And I definitely thought Golovkin won that first fight. The second fight, different story. I thought Canelo edged that one. It's very close again, but I think Canelo edged it. But the point is Canelo took the risk. He didn't need to take the risk. And I say this about Amir Khan when he fought, I know much of lower level, he fought Marcus Maidana. He didn't need to fight Marcus Maidana was one of the biggest punchers in around that weight class. Amir Khan could have, gone side. I know he was mandatory, I think. But he, when you're a big star like that, you can work your way around it, fight, jab, judo. But no, he went straight into the fire. That deserves respect. Same with Canelo. Canelo and Khan at that point, when he fought Maidana, he was seen as the up-and-coming star, the hot prospect, the money man. He was viewed as the money man. And he basically didn't care about that. He went in, head first to fight Maidana. And it turned out to be fight of the year. Canelo Alvarez, straight, same. He fought Gennady Golovkin. And Canelo Alvarez was the money man. And he wasn't afraid. Yeah, he fought him. Yeah, I thought he lost the first one. I thought he won the second one. But the point is that he took what the judges and those people scored, how they scored the fight, that's got nothing to do with Canelo. But the fact is, I think you need to respect the fact that he, regardless of being the money man, took those fights, and he took many fights after that. Danny Jacobs, he took the Kovalev fight, and now I don't want another narrative to be spun if he takes the Beterbiev fight. Oh, well, he waited for Beterbiev to get old, even though Beterbiev is literally destroying. Oh, Beterbiev didn't look that good against Brown, but now Canelo fights him. Canelo's got nothing to gain. You feel like he's never going to get any credit. If he fights Beterbiev, Canelo deserves the utmost respect because he could lose that fight. Beterbiev is a monster. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter what Canelo fans say or what anyone. Beterbiev is a monster. So if Canelo goes up against, I don't care if Canelo loses that fight, in the sense that it doesn't hurt. Like, maybe the haters will say it'll hurt his legacy. Not for me. Because Canelo's daring to be great. Canelo could lose that fight. Listen, Canelo could lose that fight against Beterbiev. No question. But for me, Canelo deserves respect. And for me, my viewing of Canelo will go through the roof because he's taking a very, very difficult fight. But what I don't want people to do is diminish the kind of risk that Canelo would be taking to fight Beterbiev. Because Beterbiev is way bigger than Canelo. He's way stronger than Canelo. Like, there's no doubt about it. Beterbiev is big. So the problem is that by saying all these things, they're waiting now and Beterbiev looks like he slipped a little bit. By saying all these things, if Canelo was to fight him and was to win, you're taking away from his win. And Canelo Alvarez and Beterbiev will probably be the biggest fight in boxing. The reason why it'd be the biggest fight in boxing, I'll tell you why. Why wasn't Canelo Plant the biggest fight in boxing, or Canelo Billy Joe? Because nobody really believed those guys were going to beat Canelo. Whereas there's a lot of people, right, that believe Beterbiev can beat Canelo. So if Canelo takes that fight and wins, I want Canelo to fight Beterbiev next over Makabu. Because, look, I actually think Canelo, although he lives in the gym year round, I don't think last year, although for me, he was the fighter of the year and he cleaned out a division in less than a year, I actually don't think the fights were that grueling. But it's not the fights, it's the camps and the training that really takes it out of you. That's why I think if Canelo takes a good rest, I believe Canelo could be back in May against Beterbiev. But for some reason, I think if Canelo looks to fight Beterbiev, I think that might be the second fight of the year. So I think he'll look for a September. I don't think Canelo's going to fight 4 times next year. I'll be very surprised. I don't think Canelo can do that because he's getting older. And I think it would be too much wear and tear on his body for him to go and fight 4 times. I think Canelo should fight probably twice next year. But maybe fight Makabu at cruiserweight and then fight Beterbiev, at light heavyweight in September, like he normally does. Or maybe a bit later because, depending on how the Makabu fight goes. Remember, he is fighting a bigger man, of course. If it's an easier fight, then maybe he could fight in September against Beterbiev. But I personally think that next year he will fight Beterbiev. That's just what I'm thinking. I might be wrong. But I think Canelo will fight Beterbiev next year. Because I think that fight makes a lot of sense. I think that's a great fight. I think that's a very, very good fight. Very, very good fight. It's the biggest fight in boxing without question. But what I don't want is people to diminish that fight in the sense that try to make out Canelo's I feel like that narrative that's being spun is kind of like Canelo's almost trying to cherry pick Beterbiev. No, he's not. Beterbiev, like, look at what Rare Breed said on the live stream. He goes, Canelo's not good. He didn't think Canelo would go anywhere. He thinks that Canelo's not going to go anywhere near Beterbiev. And that's what a lot of people think, that Canelo won't go near him. So if Canelo does take that fight within the next year, how can you not give him credit just for taking that fight? Forget about winning. You need to give Canelo credit just for taking that fight. Because that's a very, very dangerous fight. Very dangerous fight. You need to give Canelo credit just for taking it, because he's going up against a really big puncher at a higher weight class. Very few people go up weight, right, like that, in another guy's weight class and fight a puncher. You see, the reason why we want to see Canelo now move up to light heavyweight and fight guys like Beterbiev, because he's conquered all at 168. And the guy that people want to see him fight, Benavidez, can always move up to 175, and that fight can happen. But the point is, if Canelo fights Beterbiev, that cancels out Benavidez, because Beterbiev would beat Benavidez. So Canelo would be taking a much harder fight, a much better fight in Beterbiev than in fighting Benavidez. Because let's be honest, Benavidez isn't as good as Beterbiev. Beterbiev is the man at 175 at the weight class above. And if Benavidez was to fight Beterbiev, we'd all pick Beterbiev to destroy him. You know, with Benavidez not having a great defense. Imagine what Beterbiev would do. He'd walk him down and batter him. You know, so to be brutally honest with you, the fight that I really, really want to see, and I've told you guys, is Canelo v Beterbiev. And I'm still campaigning for it because I really want to see it. I really want to see that fight. It's an incredible matchup. It's an incredible fight. Honestly, it's an incredible, incredible matchup. It's just a great fight. A great, great fight between two great fighters. One's an all-time great and one's a great fighter in the modern era in Beterbiev. Canelo's an all-time great. It's just an epic, epic clash. And I really, really hope we get it. I really hope that boxing delivers that fight to us. Like, is it going to happen? I don't know. I hope it does. I hope it does. Look, Canelo for me has got probably one of the best resumes in boxing. Him adding Beterbiev and Bivol to it, that puts him on another level. If he beats Beterbiev, I'm sorry, but he may have a win on there. That's a greater win that Floyd has and Pacquiao, possibly. Because Beterbiev's a beast. He's an absolute beast. And he's in his prime right now. Don't hear where people say he's slipping. No, he's in his prime. Nobody's been able to touch Beterbiev. He battered everybody. So if Canelo was the first one to hand him a loss, hand Beterbiev a loss, then Canelo deserves utmost respect for that. But Beterbiev might beat him. Beterbiev may look at Canelo and think, that's my leg up. That's the guy that gets me the fame and the name and Beterbiev may look at Canelo like that. And it may well be that, Beterbiev might be too strong for Canelo. Maybe he knocked Canelo out. Like, people say that, but there's no way Beterbiev knocks Canelo out. Canelo's got great, but who knows? Canelo's never been in the ring with someone that powerful, that strong. People say Kovalev, but Kovalev, at the point he fought Canelo, was kind of gun-shy. Kovalev, if you look at that fight, Kovalev was just jabbing all night. He never really hit Canelo with right hand. I felt Kovalev was too worried about what was coming back, so he didn't throw many big punches. Beterbiev isn't going to be like that. Beterbiev's going to throw. He's going to throw a lot of big punches. I just can't see Beterbiev being gun-shy the way Kovalev was. I felt Kovalev was just worried about what was coming back. I don't see Beterbiev being gun-shy of what's coming back. And that's just my honest opinion. Now, I might be wrong, but that's just what I see. I just don't see Beterbiev being gun-shy. I think Beterbiev is going to do what he normally does, is walk forward and try to... It's whether Canelo can put a dent in Beterbiev. I think that's going to determine the fight. But if Canelo can't put a dent in Beterbiev, then Canelo may have a problem. He may have a problem. I believe Canelo can, but if Canelo can't put a dent in Beterbiev, then he may have a problem. But Canelo deserves respect for taking that fight, if he does take it. I just don't see how people can diminish that kind of win. that would be a proper win. A proper, like, I'm talking a great win. That would be Canelo's best win, in my opinion, if he was to pull that off against Beterbiev. But I question, because it's not necessarily Beterbiev's the most skilled fighter that he's beat, or Golovkin might be that. But Beterbiev's, when you include the size and the strength and the power and the way Beterbiev has been looking, you know, you have to say that would be the biggest win. You know, and that's just the way I look at it. But yeah, leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.